Okay, call to order our Community Development Committee meeting for February 9th. Who we have today is myself, Demond Mullen, our Commissioner Kip McFatrick, Commissioner Sandra Richmond, Township Committee members Paul Patel, our Director of Code Enforcement, David Elzer, Director of Public Works, our Township Engineer Jim Hirsch, and also as Township Solicitor Alex. All right, so we will move on to any public comments, non-agenda items.
There may have been a resident who wanted to make a comment. Jay, Commissioner Silverman.
Oh.
No, his resident. I'm not sure if his resident came. Commissioner, there might have been a resident from your ward who wanted to make a comment tonight about an alleyway. Okay. Is that person here, do you know? Jonathan? Okay, maybe they did not attend. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
We will move on to the approval of the meeting minutes.
No changes.
Okay. So we will move that. We will approve.
Minor change, the environmental advisory. The first line talks about the tree giveaway.
Oh, sorry. We're going back to the approval of the minutes. Sorry, what was that part?
Yeah. So the first line for the Environmental Advisory Council, it talks about tree giveaway, and Octorara is spelled wrong. It should be OC. They put a U in it, and so first line under EAC talks about a tree giveaway, and it should be OCTORARO.
Thank you.
Got it. So other than that one change, no other changes needed? Okay, so we'll move on, approve that. So we'll move on to land development. We'll start with 601 Davisville Road, Fred Beans.
Hopefully I can get this to work quickly. Hopes if it's actually plugged in. I'm plugged in, yeah. And I'm happy to get started if you all would like. I know you have a long agenda.
Yeah, we can get started.
So good evening, everybody. Rob Lewis from Kaplan Stewart. I represent Fred Beans, who is the equitable owner of the property located at 601 Davisville Road. With me this evening to my right is Bob Jordan, our civil engineer from Woodrow and Associates. The members of the committee may recall that back in October, we first presented an application for a conditional use approval related to this property and Fred Beans' proposed renovations and reuse of the building. We all set?
For some reason, it's not connecting into your system.
Uh-oh.
My apologies.
It's okay. No, that's fine. I think I can get through this even without the display. So we first started this public process in October, and that was for a conditional use approval. The property is located in the commercial core zoning district, and the auto repair portion of Fred Beans' proposed use required conditional use approval. We had a hearing on that conditional use in November, and then the Board of Commissioners voted to approve that conditional use in December. Just as a refresher, particularly since we don't have the plan up on the screen, 601 Davisville Road is a little bit more than 6 acres, and the property is already improved, obviously, with about an 82,000 square foot commercial or industrial building that has been principally occupied by Premier Office Solutions, who is the owner, and Y2K9's dog sports facility. As we indicated during that entire conditional use process, Fred Beans is purchasing the entirety of the property and intends to occupy a little over 52,000 square feet of that building. The Y2K9 dog sports training facility will remain in their space. Fred will be taking the remainder of the space for a combination of back of house office an auto parts warehouse facility to serve his existing dealerships, and then the auto repair facility. The vast majority of what Fred is doing is simply renovation and reoccupancy of the existing building. There will be some minor improvements, cosmetic improvements to the building, reestablishing the loading facilities on that building. But generally speaking, it's just a repurpose of the existing improvements on site, no changes to access or anything of that nature. The only real physical improvement that Fred is making is the addition of about 10,000 square feet of impervious surface to the rear of the property, and that's for additional parking and storage of vehicles. We discussed it, I think, at length during that conditional use process. Because of that 10,000 square feet of additional impervious, we actually have to do a little bit of grading into the slope behind the building and put in a retaining wall. Our plans will provide for stormwater management for any new impervious surface, and we are proposing some upgrades to landscaping just in recognition of the fact that we do obviously have residential neighbors to the rear. There's very substantial existing vegetation between us and those neighboring properties, but atop the retaining wall that is necessary for that additional parking, we're doing a combination of privacy fence and evergreen screening along that wall. We're also doing some minor improvements along the streetscape. It's very desolate out on that streetscape because it is such a slope. If you've driven up Davisville and seen the slope leading up to this property, not a lot will take there. But we met on site with the township engineer and Mr. Pertel and determined that there was adequate room to put in, I think it's 2 or 3 street trees, and we will do a nicer ground cover as opposed to just having grass on that slope now. So we received a review letter from Mr. Hirsch in early January. All of the comments from his review letter will comply. We have no issues with complying with anything he has had to say. We're happy to work with him. And before you is our request for a waiver of land development.
Okay, just so we're all aware, you're just asking, well, you're asking for the waiver request for land development. It still means they have to do everything by code, everything that's in our books. And that's what Paul is doing. That's what Jim does. So the only step here, they don't have to record it with the county. And we're talking some extra parking spaces. It's the only thing. You're not building buildings or anything. So I just say for myself, I'm okay with it. You've upgraded from what the first meeting was, from what I went through with Jim, with the landscaping part of it and all. So they still have to comply. If there's a waiver, they do have to come in back to us. But they still have to do everything. It's just a matter of they're skipping the step of having to file certain things with the county. Am I correct?
Correct. It is.
Okay.
It's of such a minor nature that to repeat the public process seems overkill. And so instead, what we've requested is essentially be able to continue to work with Jim and Paul to make sure that the plans comply and we meet their satisfaction and just be able to expedite that process.
I didn't have anything as well. I'm okay with the waiver request. So we can move this.
We kind of move forward? Okay.
Great. And so we'll move this on to the March, the full Board of
For
Commissioners.
full approval for March, correct?
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on, yeah. What?
Did you say there was an executive session? Okay.
Yeah,
Pat, just so he hears it.
what announcement? We met in executive session before the meeting today.
Prior to this meeting.
All right, so we'll move on to 3930 Commerce Avenue, land development waiver request.
Good evening. Joseph Consul on behalf of the applicant, Rias Bright Futures Academy LLC, who is the equitable owner of 3930 Commerce Avenue. With me is Donald Haas from Borgia Engineering. This is an application for a 2.35 acre property in the business center zoning district, currently improved with an existing 10,000 square foot office building and a full movement driveway on Commerce Avenue. There's no building expansion proposed, no new driveway proposed, no increase in building square footage proposed. The application is for the interior conversion of an existing office building to that of a daycare use. My clients are here on that to speak on that if anyone should want them to. We're seeking a full land development waiver on the installation of approximately 4,852 square feet of pervious playground surface. Addition to that, we're also contemplating the relocation of ADA parking, installation of fencing, and some minor site improvements. So we're here requesting a waiver from the development review and the traffic impact study.
Okay, as far as your, we'll call it project, the main thing is 500 square feet. You're putting a plastic mat per se over top of what's there to make it a playground.
Correct.
That's what it is.
And that area is generally actually parking lot today.
Right.
So yeah, there's no increase in impervious or stormwater runoff.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Okay.
I thought that's what it was. I know exactly what you're doing, so nothing's changing except for the surface.
Correct.
No comments, I'm fine with it.
No comments here either.
Is this an appropriate venue to bring up the traffic impact fee?
This is where you bring it up.
All right, great. Well, well, I don't know. That's good. You only mentioned the development review. So regarding the traffic impact study, I'll call Donald to qualify himself and then speak to his response to Paul's letter of February 3rd. So please state your name and.
Donald Hawes. I'm a licensed landscape architect with Boja Engineering. Boja Engineering is primarily focused on traffic engineering, and I've worked with Greg Boja, president of that, for 23 years now. I've been qualified in other townships and municipalities in PA regarding traffic, specifically with PennDOT and interchanges. So for this project, we looked at the ITE manual to generate what the anticipated trips are, knowing that there's going to be approximately 142 students maximum will be allowed at this facility. We came up with the numbers, and those were reviewed by Bowman, your traffic engineer. They seemed to be in agreement with the way we presented the data. They asked for some additional data on the existing use, which was a call center. There's no call center in the ITE manual, so we went with an office use and made that comparison. So the difference that it generates then for your Act 209 fees is the PM peak hour. They wanted to look at the difference there, and it shows what feels like a large number of additional trips. What needs to be understood is that a daycare center is usually patronized by people close to their home or close to their work. You're not going out of your way to someplace new for a daycare. You want something that's convenient for that case. So what happens then is the trips that are coming to the daycare center are diversion trips. They're not new trips. They're just coming from work, stopping at the daycare to pick their kid up in the afternoon and heading home, or they're coming home from work, stop at the daycare, and then they go immediately to their residence, which is already in the township. So we're asking for a waiver of the Act 209 fees, as we feel this is not an additional load on the township roadway and the road system, but just regular trips that are already occurring to just have a little extra diversion as they go to the daycare center.
Okay, that one I disagree with. That one, I don't think, we're talking about that driveway and that piece of the roadway there. Just because they live in the township and they're going from there and they're stopping by there to go to work somewhere else, that's still a newly generated trip to that location, which is getting extensively changed, that whole street. Am I correct that that's Just because they live in the township, they're coming here to work, we don't know where they're working.
I would generally opine that that's true, but I mean, has Bowman had an opportunity to look at this? I would defer to their opinion.
Yeah. Bowman did review it, and I'm just pulling it up
Yeah.
now.
They only made a note about the Act 209, they didn't. I think that part of the request was additional data to look at the difference in the PM peak trips.
And you provided the additional data to Bowman at this
Yes, we
point?
did.
We didn't get additional comments back from Bowman as of Friday.
We responded on the 4th, the letter came the 3rd.
It's fine. I mean, I would wait until Bowman has a chance to analyze and assess in a formal review.
And let's put this, is that the only other thing we have here?
That's the only thing.
The traffic impact study and the fee.
Okay. We could, and this is up to the other people in the committee, we could move it forward if you and Bowman come up with the number between the two of you before the March whatever meeting. Yeah, and then if it's not done by then and Bowman doesn't agree or whatever, we don't have anything, then we're not going to vote on it. We'll table it then.
Yeah, fair.
But I want to know what Bowman says, if there's additional trips and how much money or whatever. They dictate it for us.
I'm fine with that. I agree with your insight about the trips. It doesn't mean that because somebody is coming home from work, that they are going to that specific location. And I do see that as an impact to that location, the traffic in that location. So I would like to see what Bowman has to say. Yes.
Is that okay with you then?
It
You
is.
work it out with Bowman and they'll tell you what the number is, a decrease or, who knows? So, and then, but we will put it on the agenda for a vote.
For a vote, yes.
It's just a matter of
Option to table
if
it.
they have to agree to our engineer. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay. And that's it? That's all you're asking for tonight?
that's all, yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, so we'll move on to new business. 300 North York Road, Spotless Brands Car Wash Sketch Plan.
Trying to plug this PowerPoint in, so excuse me. for a moment. Alex, you wanna- It's not fitting in. Thank you. Hopefully it. Alex, do you want a handout? We have handouts as well, so I know that you have other matters on your agenda, so I'll get started. And we do have the PowerPoint handout.
You have a Dell? Is that a Dell?
I'm sorry?
What kind of computer is that? Is it a Dell, HP? Laptop? Yeah.
Mine is HP.
Hit the function F8 and see if that actually makes it connect. The function F8 key, hit the FN at the bottom left-hand side, and then hit F8 at the top together. Let's see if that works.
Thank you.
Probably not. It should. Yeah. We can just get started. We'll look through the presentation.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
These are all that we already have in here?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anybody in the public area that has an interest in this that would like to see this? Because I can hand it around. I have this. No?
One more copy.
Okay. If nobody wants to copy it, we're good.
It is coming up in our control room, but for some reason, it's not going to our screen, so he's working on that. Oh, there we
why we
go.
brought that.
There we go.
There we go.
Nice job, control room.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Good evening, Julie Von Spreckleson from the law firm of Eastburn and Gray here tonight on behalf of Spotless Brands Car Wash. First, I want to thank the CDC for allowing us this opportunity to present our sketch plan for the project, which involves the revitalization and reuse of the property located at 300 North York Road. The property itself, to familiarize you with it, is basically it's 3 parcels that combined form an entire city block. And it has 4 frontages: Easton Road to the east, York Road to the west, to the north is Cedar Avenue, and to the south is Center Avenue. So it's an entire block. It's about a little bit over 2 acres, 2.3 acres. And you probably know this site is the former Office Max site. Most recently, it was Savers Thrift Store. The building there is 22,500 square feet in area, and what is proposed is a state-of-the-art car wash, environmentally friendly, and it will be a revitalization and reuse of this building. So the plan is to actually reuse the building itself and make interior renovations for the car wash site. And before I get too far into this description, I want to turn it over to Ray Gargano. He is here this evening. He's the Vice President of Development and Construction with Spotless Brands, and I just want him to give a 2-minute overview of Spotless Brands and to let you know where else they're developing locally. Ray?
Thank you. Ray Gargano. We are, Spotless Brands is a national chain. We have right now 225 locations open. We, in this area, down through Maryland, Delaware, and Northern Virginia, our name is Flagship. We are developing also, we have a large chain out west, which is called Cobblestone in Denver and Phoenix, and a couple smaller ones in Ohio and in Oklahoma. In this area, we are very strong, the #1 car wash brand in the DMV and in Northern Virginia, and we are moving up kind of the 95 corridor. In this area right now, we have a significant amount of work under construction. We just opened a site in Trooper. On Wednesday, we're opening a full-service location, which is very similar to the one we're showing you tonight in Phoenixville. It is also a repurposed building. It's an old Rite Aid that we've taken and turned into a full service, which you'll see here, the difference between the levels there. And as in this area specifically, as you move up 611, we have several locations that we're developing as you move up north, and we have just purchased the Pete's car wash brand to also extend into the area. So we're making a real commitment into this area. And as we go on, obviously we can talk more. This is showing 210, we're actually at 220. And this location will hire an awful lot. It will probably have somewhere in the 50 employee range. And, in working shifts, 35 to 50. And I think what else on from the flagship side, our intent is to become a staple in this area and be a good community member. Any questions? Well, I think as we go through, there will be some questions on how we operate the site.
Did you want to show some of the existing building and what would be proposed, and give a little bit more of the actual car wash experience that is offered?
Right. So what you're seeing here is we'll clean up the site. I believe we're adding, and the engineers will get into that, probably adding some impervious. The way this will work is there'll be an entrance. We have a site plan. It might be the easiest way to walk through, then we can go to the elevations. There you go. What'll happen, you'll see that our stacking area goes along the bottom here. We're not going to make major differences to the site. You're gonna, oh, good. Oops, where's that? There it is. Oh, we're gonna come in here and go in, and this area here is our wash tunnel. So as you go through the wash tunnel, that's what you're used to seeing. In most of these sites that have a wash tunnel, you get it clean. Then you come out, you have a choice. This is very, again, similar to what you see up and down the roads here. These are free vacuums that are going to be sitting in this, generally in the same area as the parking that sits there now. Or you have a choice that you will loop around through here, back into the building, and these are 12-foot wide, 12-foot wide, 100-foot long moving belts that you'll pull your car into. You'll get out, there's a waiting area here. As they go up this belt, you're getting a full service. You vacuum inside, cleaning your windows, cleaning outside, making sure that it's totally dry and all those sort of things. Some of the neat things that we're doing here is we recycle our water. A lot of people do it. As time goes on, you see sites that are a little bit older, they recycle some water. We're recycling more and more as the process goes through. All the water, everything that goes on inside this building from a water standpoint stays, everything's tilted so it stays inside. There's no chemicals, nothing getting out into the storm system. And it is recycled into the wet. There's, I'm not exactly sure where they are, but there's underground tanks that do separation of the grit and the grime, and then it goes through an inside recycle system that uses a couple different methods to drop the rest of the particles out. It's used mostly on the bottom end of underneath and the bottom of the car. The employee parking is here, a little bit down here, because this will have some employees. And and what you saw in an earlier shot, we don't have we have a set prototype what our brand new roundup stores look like. This one's different. So we're going to, a lot of times when something like this, like the one that we just did in Phoenixville, which was a Rite Aid, we want to work with the town and the committees and find out, what are you looking for? What do you want it to look like? We do, like I said, we have a prototype, but we are flexible. If you go to our Trooper site that just opened, you'll see we're working on that. That's a totally different look. But again, we work with the community and work with the town. So that's the general look. Again, everything's staying inside of the existing area that it sits on now. I think we have a traffic engineer here to talk a little bit about traffic with you. And an engineer to talk about some others. I can answer any other questions as we go through, or if you have any questions now.
I would say put the whole thing on and then we'll come up with questions.
Okay. And so
Can you
Ray,
increase the size of that map that you had earlier?
Excuse me?
Can you increase the size? I mean, I have it on my screen too, but
Can you make that a little bigger?
wait,
She just wanted to see the site plan.
yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this.
Go to the hourglass at the bottom. Keep right there. There you
trying to-
go. Yep.
There you go. A little more.
In the wrong business.
This is where you come in here. We have a lot of stacking here. This will never, this site, our busiest sites we have down south, we keep the traffic going through real well. We'll stack maybe 20 sites. We'll never get off site here, so that's a good thing. There's a lot of car washes you go to, when things get bad, they start getting out in the street. This will never happen because we're just too far away from any type of street. This is the wash tunnel. All back there is offices and equipment rooms where we have equipment for all of this. And then in this area here, you loop around. And these two little sections that are dotted line, that's what you pull your car on. It's not moving. You get out of the car, that moves, pulls it onto a longer moving belt. And that's where the two crews, they have a grid system above with everything hanging down. They clean the cars. It's not a detail, but it's a full circle.
where is the entrance for and exit for cars? Can you point that out,
The
please?
entrance is on the side right here.
So that's on Easton Road.
You mean
From the
street
street
entry.
Street end.
Street.
Oh, street entrance is
You're using the
here on Cedar,
the existing entrance, which is.
and existing entrance on York. We're not moving.
That,
We're not moving.
that's an entrance? I thought that was, is that new?
Excuse me?
Is that an existing entrance? On
This is
York?
an entrance here, it's existing, and this is an entrance here.
Nothing's changes as far as entrances.
No.
So the cars will enter and exit from the same place, from the same two areas?
Yes, no change. We have found, we are working on a lot of, we do a lot of existing buildings. We walk in, because we're seeing, when we're especially doing this type of design, and it allows us to walk into a town and do exactly this, is take something that's closed down and shut and kind of revitalize it. And, but we also find when we start messing around with entrances and exits, it creates havoc. So this is, seems that it's worked, and we'll keep it where it's, where the entrances exist.
And we do have some examples of sites that have been revitalized and reused. And this is one of them, if you want to discuss.
This is what we're looking at for here. It'll,
This is the existing building, but we do have other ones that
Yeah.
show the,
some of the ones we just done.
I'll get to those. Here we go.
Yeah, that's fine with New Jersey. We took an existing closed Rite Aid and this is the exit of the wash tunnel, 3 vacuums, and this is the exit for the full serve belts.
And then we have another example.
So the vacuums are free?
Vacuums are free.
Is there like a gate to prevent people from?
We manage it with the team that's there.
Okay, because like most of the ones I've seen, you drive through and you don't get to the vacuums until you've paid and driven through. This allows.
If somebody wants to sneak in there and get a free vacuum, I imagine it happens once in a while. But for the most part, we have the team, the way it's set up, there are people are on the section where you pay for the wash, where you're a member and your little sticker lets you go in for free. There's always somebody manned there, so that's one area. Then we have somebody at the opening of the wet tunnel to line you up and get you in like most washes do. Then we have crews in the dry areas to do the cleaning, but then we have another 1 or 2 people that manage the site. They're taking care of the trash, making sure that things are going. The interesting thing is, when you look at something like this is not the old style vacuums. These are not individual vacuums that make a ton of noise. They are worked out of a central vacuum system. So it's one big motor that we either put inside or I think we're showing on this one here. That'll be an enclosure, so all the sound goes up and doesn't affect anything else. With this type of setup, with the vacuums the way we do them now, with the way we do the blowers and we manage and point the tunnel exits, we have no trouble meeting just about any sound code that's out there. We have options. If we're up somewhere where it doesn't matter, we don't do as much, but as we hit areas that have residential, we have multiple steps we take to keep the sound well below, keep it below the required codes. The other thing is we're only open 8 to 8. So we don't ever run into, a lot of towns have like at 9 o'clock, they drop the sound code down because even if you're not close, you don't want to have cars going and things like that. We're an 8 to 8, a lot of times in the winter we'll close even a little. But 8 to 8 is our regular hours.
Did I hear you correctly in asserting that there would be no stacking of cars in the streets to get in and out?
Our very busy sites that we have down in the Virginia that do this service, we've done tests. Actually, our traffic engineers went down there and they tested and counted and did on 4 sites, did we do? 4 sites. And on a Saturday afternoon, when we have the busiest time that these washes are, the most we've stacked on the busiest ones is 20 cars. If you take a look at this, if you take a look at this, you've got 21 right there, and you have all this stacking going into the tunnel, and you have all this overflow back here. This site will never overflow. Now, we have sites that sometimes something will happen, something will break down and do it. We have a ton of people here. That's when if something were to break down, we wave people by. I mean, it's part of their operating procedure. We don't let people come in if there's an issue. And once in a while there's an issue. If there's an issue, we have We have steps to take so you don't get too many cars and people aren't trying to figure out how to get done. We make sure we get the site clear, get whatever's broken fixed, and then open it back up. No, this will never have cars on the road. It's just, this would be outside of what we've seen and what we do.
I don't know how you can say never.
Well, I'll tell you how one way we do it. For us to get this backed up, this moves cars through too fast. It would have to stop because of the amount of cars. This tunnel will do, if we crank it up, can do something like 140, 150 cars an hour if we wanted it to. And what I'm saying is the amount of volume we project for this type of site, it's just, we know, we have a group of people that analyze these things and look at where it is. And what I'm saying is if you take a look at our busy sites, this will probably be, we would hope this has the same volume as our busy sites. But it's still, even if it hits those high numbers, the stacking is going to max out around
20 cars on the road.
20 cars inside right here, which is not the road. That's inside. For us to get, if 20 is our maximum on the sites that we studied, we need to be somewhere around 50 to get out on the road here. It's just, you just wouldn't see that happen. And our traffic engineer can talk to that, but it just doesn't. We have sites that will go to 20 here, and then the road will be right there. Something slows down, something goes wrong, you risk it. I'm just saying, at this location, there's just no place for it. We just have way too many stacking for the cars. That's all. From our experience, and from our very busy sites. We have sites down in that area that do a lot of cars, and I don't think we're not projecting this one to do some of those types of numbers. It might, but it's still it would have to be more traffic than our busiest stores we have. It's just what we tested. And went down at the traffic engineer study. So that's all. Anything else for that? I don't know what else I could do.
Just a comment, for clarification, the vehicles we're looking at there where you keep saying stacking, that's on the property. York Road is below that on the picture, am I correct?
York Road is here. Does York Road,
Yeah.
It's
Center.
one way.
Yeah.
It's a one way, yeah.
So those vehicles that are on your plan right now are actually on property, they're not on the road?
they're all on our property.
Thank you.
Everything's maintained on our property.
Well, what are you looking for from this committee? Just presenting the presentation? What are you looking for?
We were making a presentation. We wanted to talk a little bit about the zoning, and I can turn to the zoning map here, get back to that. So this property, it's not working. This property is in the commercial core zoning district, and it's where the star is. You can see the star on there. And that commercial core is an interesting district because it doesn't allow a B8 car wash use, but what it does allow is an auto service use. And an auto service use can have a car wash. So a car wash is technically permitted here, it just has to be with an auto service use. So they could come in here by right with an auto service use and also have a car wash. So that's what's interesting about the commercial core. The property to the north, and you can see this property is surrounded by other districts. The property to the north on Cedar, the light pink color, and also then to the east, that's zone CMU, the commercial mixed use district, that allows car washes by right. The zoning below, directly below this, abutting below to the south, the reddish color, that is zone TC1. That allows car washes by right. So every property surrounding this property allows this use by right, and this property itself allows a car wash if it's in conjunction with an auto service use. So I think it makes sense, And it certainly makes sense at this property because this property is a larger property. It's over 2 acres. You can see that there is so much room for stacking on here. You're not going to have cars, as Ray described, out onto the street. We're looking to revitalize this site. I mean, right now, this site, you've seen it. It was the former Office Max, and now it's a Savers Thrift that's been vacant for quite some time. So we're trying to adaptively reuse this and revitalize this site. And we think that this use will do so, and we're going to spruce up the building. Here's some pictures of the existing building elevations to the left, and then to the right, some proposed architectural elevations. It's very, low key. It's not the bright neon color car wash. It's a very low key kind of earth tone colors, and it really fits in, and it's really going to make it a nicer look at this site. And the use works here. It works here. So we're just looking to see if we can get some support from the CDC in moving this forward to either, there's different options. There's rezoning to the CMU, since this property abuts the CMU. It certainly wouldn't be spot zoning. It would be keeping in character with the neighborhood. So that's one way to do it. There's also an interpretation from your zoning officer that a car wash use is permitted in this district, because it is, if it's an auto service use. So that's, what we were looking to discuss. And we do have a traffic engineer here if you have any questions with regard to trip generation or traffic. We also have our civil engineer here who can talk to you more about the plan itself. But again, this was a sketch presentation, just basically to talk about the use, to see if this is some, use that this board could support in moving forward.
Alex, I have a question for you. Can you comment on the potential for this to be a spot zoning case?
I mean, anything can be interpreted and argued as spot zoning, right? I mean, the key is to make sure that if you're changing the use for a property, is that you're looking globalistically at the rest of the district to make sure that the uses are compatible. So, I mean, I can't give you a direct answer at this point as to say like, oh, this is spot zoning, right? If you were to change through a text amendment your map just specifically for this property and not consider any other properties within this district, then arguably, yes, you have spot zoned, if that makes sense.
Well, I would just say that this property abuts CMU zoning to the north and to the east, and there's 3 parcels here. So it would be 3 parcels, a whole block being rezoned to CMU. And again, it abuts CMU to the north and to the east. Spot zoning would be if you were going to rezone this residential. There's no residential around here. But this property directly abuts the CMU. It also abuts the TC1, all of which allow car wash uses. So I would argue, contrary, respectfully, to your solicitor, that this would not be considered spot zoning.
Any other questions?
I don't have any other questions at this time, no.
I would just say I'm against it for the fact that we've done everything we can to get auto uses out. I thought we didn't have any automobile stuff in TC1. We've been trying to a lot of this is rezoned. It was just done over the last 3-4 years through our planning commission and stuff. I just don't think that it looks good in the downtown for what we've been trying to do. I like the product. I love the product. I just don't like the location. And we've tried to zone anything out of the downtown except for downtown. This isn't a project that I consider revitalizing our downtown, what we have been trying to do. That's the only reason I'd be against the zoning and for it. But that's strictly me. There's 6 more commissioners. So I think even our other commissioners in the room, just give them an idea the way how you feel.
Well, I have a concern, hold the same concerns. This particular property where it's situated, the zoning was a deliberate decision, as is all of the zoning decisions. Where it is situated on York Road in Easton, in that corner, it would be a very high impact on the neighborhood, and while I want that property to be revitalized, that would be a very heavy impact on the neighborhood and not in the way we're the zoning intended for it to be.
And I mean, I understand those comments, but I mean, as it sits now, it's an empty vacant building and retail has taken a huge hit. So this is a use that is going to look nice. The building will look nicer and it's a good fit for the site. And Spotless is a great community member as well. And they get involved with their communities. They hire locally. It would be a real benefit for the township, a real win.
Do we have any other commissioner comments?
Public.
Other comments? Okay, so. just
You had-
table- you-
No, all they're doing is
Is it
asking,
in-
they just gave us a plan. We can't, any individual can say yes or no, that they want to know if they should proceed. That's their whole point here. Should they proceed to spend money on this, or is the board against this? That's why I said each commissioner should say something, whether yes, proceed or not.
I would technically need to see the traffic pattern, because I drive on Cedar Avenue to go to Giant all the time. It's not the best traffic there. So you can have your traffic study, but until you experience it, and adding this additional information there, the cars, the car wash, I can see that having a negative impact on all that traffic in that area.
I think from a standpoint of what this would be, if it could be reopened as retail, 20-some thousand square feet of retail, I think our traffic, and quite honestly, is, one thing about a car wash is it paces things. It brings things out at a certain pace. So sometimes, I would say a lot of times our impact is less. And again, we have a traffic engineer here that could comment on that. And we look at a site like this and we see a lot of opportunity, and we do feel like we are a benefit to the town. So I understand your comments. I get all that. It's just that we would like, if you could see some of the things we're doing in other places and the way we engage with the community, I think we do go in that direction. And the fact is that all the use can go here, right? Just not us. I mean, not car wash.
If it's with an auto service,
If it's with all the
yes.
So it'll be a different type of auto. I mean, if Aldo does decide to go into this space, they can do all the service. So we're thinking our auto, even though we're an auto-centric use, a little less impact on that. But it's our thoughts.
Any other questions?
Any other questions, comments? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your time.
Yeah. We'll move on to 35 North York Road proposed redevelopment.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Stephen Klein with Regan Klein Cross Architects. I'm here with the property owner, Gil Barzeski of Elkins Park LLC, who owns the property at 35 North York Road. We're going to go through a quick presentation. We're here for a sketch plan review with the Board of Commissioners. Try to get some feedback and some direction onto our next steps for this project. So in front of you is a presentation about 6 sheets. The first sheet shows an aerial, and you'll see a blue line which connects our property, which is designated with the blue arrow on the bottom right-hand corner. The property is located at the corner of Church Street and North York Road. That line between the train station and our property is just over 900 feet. And you see the apartment buildings that were built prominently across the street from the train station. Gives you some orientation. Our next plan, or our next drawing, is an aerial of just the site, and you're seeing Old York Road to the left along here, and Church Street along here. Our property is this kind of L-shaped, I'll call it, property. It currently houses a 2-story building, which was previously occupied by a dentist office. Currently not yet. By a dentist office, and there's a parking lot in the back. We were approached by our client to look at this and come up with a mixed-use project, which is what we have in front of you today. The project this gives you a blow-up of the zoning map. The red circle is our property. That property is on TC2. And surrounding the property, you'll see more of the gray area as you go further south on North York Road. Just to the top of our property in the residential street is R4, and then across the street, Church Street, is TC1, which they were just talking about. So we've come up with a layout that incorporates some retail space and apartments. This is a 3-story building that we would be proposing. Just to give you a little bit of orientation, you have Church Street to your left and North York Road to your bottom. The property does slope, does have a grade change from the York Road going back towards Church Street. That grade change is about 6 feet, 7 feet. Grade change from North York Road going back off of Church Street. In the front of the building would be a retail space that would be right on the street. Then you can't really see this in here, but you can certainly see it on the drawings I printed out. This would be an area designated for amenity space and ancillary spaces that would be for the apartments, such as utility room, package room, fitness center, leasing office, and so those type of things that are ancillary to the apartment building. We show the capacity of 13 parking spaces in the parking lot. And you'll see in the next few slides that the building footprint is basically a rectangle which runs all the way through here, down this way, and up like that. This part of the parking lot over here is going to be out open air. So once you get underneath the building and past the building, you'll be out in open air parking. The next plans, and I'll zoom in here. Whoop. So both floors consist of the same setup. There's a mixture of 2-bedroom units and small and medium-sized 1-bedroom units. The 2-bedroom units are the blue units that would be in the front. Those would be just about 1,000 square feet. The green units that are shown here are 1-bedroom units. Those would be in the 650 to 700 square foot range. And then the junior 1-bedrooms, which would be on the left-hand side in the reddish or orange color as it sees on this screen, would be just around 600 square feet, which would give us a quantity of 8 units per floor, and there would be 2 floors of that setup. We did our parking counts based on as if we were within the distance to the train station, where we would only need one parking spot per unit. That would be one of the variance requests that we would be looking for, or an in lieu variance request just for the additional parking that the normal parking count would require. But in this count, on the sheets that you're seeing before you, we've anticipated that parking count, and we also used the shared parking analysis in your zoning code for the timing of the different uses. And as it currently shows, you can see here that the most capacity for parking would be on Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to midnight, and that would be 21 spaces required. We're showing 13 spaces in our parking lot, and we would be looking for, we have a deficiency of 8 spaces.
I have a question.
Shoot.
How many of those spaces would be designated for handicap parking and not available to the general populace?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How many of those parking spaces are designated for handicapped and therefore not available to everyone?
We show 2 spaces. So, but the handicap spaces are considered part of the overall parking count in your zoning code. They're not excluded as part of separate parking.
And on that map, can you count the 13? Because I'm having trouble counting the 13.
You have 10 along here.
Okay.
And then you have 3 parallel parking spaces up here.
So is that 15?
There's actually more than that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So the 13 doesn't count the ADA spaces.
It does not, but they would be counted. We would be showing a total of 15. Yeah, I understand.
Thanks for the clarification, because I was trying to connect
Sorry.
the dots.
Thank you.
Question, what kind of retail would you envision in that space there?
Not sure yet. I can bring up Mr. Barzeski so he can speak to that. He's the actual property owner.
Yeah, sure.
And we
Good
have-
evening, my name is Gil Barzeski. I'm actually the owner of ERA Holding. That's the owner of the company, not Elkins Park. Just correction. And I own also, I'm partner also of the computer store right next door.
Okay.
And part of what we're thinking is to move the computer store because we need less retail. It's 5,000 square foot building. We need less retail. We're gonna move the computer business to the right side, and then we'll decide what we do with the next door building.
That property he's talking about is at 37 North York. That's on the other side of Church Street.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of the consideration. It's gonna be some professional service.
Okay. Thank you.
So the assumption is during the daytime, when people come to this retail shop, they're going to park in the residential parking lot.
Correct. That's currently what happens now with the dentist office. The parking is behind the building.
But this is the dentist office. Now you're talking about retail in addition to residential. So you're not really
Yes.
comparing apples to apples.
I'm sorry?
You're not comparing the same thing. 'Cause it's
No,
just
I'm just talking about the juxtaposition of the parking
Yeah.
to the use.
Yeah.
That's all I was talking about. Yes, I realize the overall scope of the project, or the property has changed. I agree that. Oh, there was one more slide. This slide shows a cross-section of the building along Church Street. To the right of the drawing is North York Road. And you're going uphill on Church Street, you can see where the parking would be accessed off of Church Street. Currently, we're roughly in the same location where the existing parking lot for the dental office is located. And then the apartment floors would be above that. And there would probably be an accommodation for access to the retail space from the parking lot through the building.
I'll just speak for mine. I would be against this. Parking's a premium. Church Street, there's parking on one side of the road, which is just about impossible coming down the hill. I used to live there. I know this area extremely well. the street behind it, parking on one side of the street. I think the streets are 24 feet wide. Hard to get down with a trash truck if somebody's parked there. And I can tell you now, all the new apartment complexes, anything that we have built, we have gone one parking spot per bedroom, or bed, let's say, for each one. So on here, we're looking at least 20. Then you have, there's Saturdays, which everybody could be home. Now you have a retail that could be open. And then on top of that, on this property, there is just about zero where you could put any snow in a snowstorm like this. So all these people, there'd be several people here that would be on the street parking, which now there isn't hardly any parking out on the street because of this ice. That alone, I have never been on a board where we've granted less than one per bed. Correct, Paul? We have never given less than at least one spot per bedroom.
That's correct.
Yeah.
There was a provision, but that's changed.
Right.
But isn't there?
I think it's 1.5 now.
I'm sorry.
It's 1.5 usually at everywhere we've got, and that's not enough. All the apartments we've done is 1.5 parking spaces, and they are full and overflowing. I can name 2 of them right off the bat. There's only one place that does not overflow at that percentage. So I just don't like the parking per number of units, including retail on top of it. I get the sharing. Saturdays, you don't share. If they're open. Sundays, you don't share. I see it all the time. I've been on here for 30 years now on these boards.
Well,
And it hasn't worked.
I understand that, but also based on your own shared parking chart, I mean, the most intense parking based on that shared would be the Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to midnight. Now, it doesn't, the times that are on Saturday and Sunday are a few spaces below that. So.
One could argue that a lot of people work from home now. So if you're working from home, you're not leaving the house.
Well, no, I understand that. However, I'm just going off of what the calculation that was allotted to us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Because you own it now, you could sell it. That could, yeah, if they put any medical at all, you'd never be able to. I don't care if it's a one-person doctor's office. It just won't work with the parking.
Okay. So I guess my question would be if we could achieve the amount of parking, whether it be through a shared parking agreement of a property that's within the distance based on your zoning code, which I think was within 800 feet.
You wouldn't be here. You'd be okay.
Well, we would still be looking for relief from you because we would want the consideration that the property there's de minimis change between the 800 feet to the train station as opposed to the 900 feet to the train station, because that gets us into the realm of the 18 parking spaces that are required for the apartments. Whereas if we were outside of that 800 square feet, or excuse me, that 800 feet, we would need more parking. So if we were able to achieve the shared parking aspect with, I know Mr. Barzeski has been in conversations with the church. He's also been contemplating tearing down the back portion of his property at 37 North and potentially making parking spaces there that would be used for this property. So if we're able to achieve that parking within the stipulation of what I just talked about, is that something that could be supported?
If you come in with a new plan that I can look at and see it, then I'd give you that answer.
Okay.
And I feel the same way. The parking is inadequate. There's no place to put snow. I don't see this being workable for a tenant trying to live their life.
I agree. Parking needs to be resolved.
Okay.
If you can rearrange things or whatever, and bring something back that way.
Okay.
But I kind of have to visualize and see it, because I know what the property is now, what it's been used for the last 50 years. Parking's just brutal.
I get it. Yeah, I'm not discounting that. It was always a contemplation of not our understanding was we weren't necessarily, even if we were going to the zoning hearing board, we wouldn't be going to the zoning hearing board and asking for 8 parking spaces deficient. We would be trying to reduce that somehow through what I just talked about regardless. We're trying to just understand is if we were able to get that shared parking and achieve some closer to this number, much closer to this number, are we still within the realm of being able to consider that 800-foot distance as opposed to the 900-foot?
I'd be willing to entertain it. Like I said, I'd have to see something.
Okay.
That's all. Okay?
All right. Yeah.
Any questions from the public?
Any questions from the public, from the commissioners? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll move on to the last part of the new business, authorization to advertise bids for 2026 milling and 2026 highway materials. So Dave, you want to give your 2 cents on this?
Yes, I'd like to give permission to advertise, to put out to bid the highway materials, which is the 9.5 millimeter asphalt and the full length milling, 1.5 inches to 2 inches for the roadways that were designated for the 2026 paving program. I'd like to put them, start advertising at the end of this month.
Okay.
And put it, and they can pick up the bid documents in March.
Okay. I'm in favor of moving that to the full board. Good, okay. All right, there's no old business, so we'll get to the monthly reports. Let's go to the Code Enforcement Department report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to add to any of the reports. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have on the monthly reports. Do have a few other things to report. On this past Friday, the Code Enforcement Office launched our online portal for permit submission, contractor's license submission, use permits, amusement devices, the renewals. We spent the past year working on that. The board did authorize funds for that. I appreciate it. But that went out on Friday. So everybody should have received that. So don't have any applications to date. But I'm sure we'll start to get some. So that's all I got.
Have you advertised that it's available?
Yes, yep. We sure did. Put an email blast out. It's actually going out in our newsletter this spring.
Yes.
So, yep.
Okay.
Live Friday, the 6th.
Cool. Okay, so we'll move on to, you guys have any questions? Nope. No? Okay, so we'll move on to Public Works report.
Thank you. In the packet, I believe you have my November, December, and January reports. I have one comment to make. The recycling worksheet for January. I just got the total invoice yesterday, and the reports were, or Friday, and the reports were in already. Actual cost of single stream for the township for January, let me find, I just lost it. I had 8,000, which was December's cost. January's cost is, here we go, $6,635.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any questions?
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. I love it when I get home 34 hours straight time after a snowstorm and see on Facebook, everybody's complaining they didn't do the whole road. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. I was out for 35 hours. I know our township employees were out for the same, that entire time. That includes everybody, not just police, because they're always out. But all the employees here, it was a very tough storm. I just want to say thank you to them. It was so tough. Other townships ran out of salt. It's just when you get sleet and freezing rain on top of it, it's just really hard to move. And do not run into a snowbank that has been piled up because it will destroy your car. I saw 2 of them already that hit a snowbank, a truck, and just destroyed it. So that's how hard it is. It took how many hours just to do in front of Burger King? One small block was hours and hours just to get to the curb following it. And we have, everybody complains they didn't get there. I don't think people realize we have over 200 miles of street in Upper Moreland. 20 plow trucks, if that. You're not running 60 miles an hour. You're running 15, hopefully. And it takes a while. And try and stay up that long and be focused with a plow on your truck, that you can destroy things. They did a great job staying out there. Please let them know.
Thank you, Dave. We'll move on to an engineering report.
Thank you. Our engineering report and landscape architects reports are in your packets. I don't have anything to add, but would be more than happy to answer any questions.
I don't have anything. Sandra, you have anything?
No.
Okay, traffic, EAC.
Tall people tonight. At our January and February meetings, we started planning for Earth Day, which will be April 25th from 10 to 1:30. We also talked about the fact that the annual Bird Town report was completed on time, a day ahead, and hopefully we'll maintain our gold status based on the points we should. We'd also like to do some things for next year, which is now. We'd like to make people more aware of how important it is to keep outdoor lights off during the fall and spring migrations. Also make people more aware of actually window collisions and birds, and also just how incredibly devastating cats are to birds. They kill literally millions and millions of birds every year. So we'd like to educate people about keeping their cats indoors, which makes the cats safer too. The annual Great Backyard Bird Count is from February 13th to 16th this year. The event is sponsored by the National Audubon Society, the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and actually also Birds Canada. Birds Unlimited is actually a founding supporter of the event. It's free to participate. I'm actually giving a couple of talks at the library tomorrow on how one can participate and why it's important to do so, and we'll illustrate some things. And also wondering in general about maybe doing some Zoom presentations to the public about things about maybe meadows, native plants, how to keep birds safe, so on and so forth. Wonder if there's some way to maybe do that. Obviously, you can just do a Zoom presentation, but wondered how we could do it through the township and, okay. Also, we would really like to have a free tree giveaway. And we had that kind of happening in the works, and then we're informed we can't use public money for that. However, a number of townships around us do that. So we're wondering how we can do that.
What makes those other townships different from us?
They'd have to be donated.
What was asked of me from our Parks Director was if we can use the funds for the fee in lieu of to use to purchase trees to give to our residents, and the answer was no. Those funds are supposed to be used for park improvements in the area where the improvement was made, but they didn't have the proper amenities, so those fees are used for that public purpose. They're not for sales to individual residents to plant trees on their own property. If the board wishes to allocate some funding for that, that certainly would be up to the board's discretion.
And you said the trees are donated, that's how Abington and Upper Dublin?
No.
I don't know. That would be my first thing.
They actually spend some outrageous amount of money. I believe it was $50,000 last year. And obviously, it's a larger township, but they've done free tree giveaways over, for a number of years, and they spend a lot of money on it. And I guess we also have money, not just in lieu of fund, but tree money, 16,000, I would,
That's the money that is allocated from the fee in lieu of money, I believe, to plant trees in parks in certain areas. Looking for John to see if he's here.
We get in lieu of money, but we give the parks a certain amount of that to plant trees in our parks. That's correct. Like 15,000, it used to be 8,000.
yeah, it was doubled, I thought, to 16.
Yeah, now it's up to, I think I asked for 15,
Yeah.
but they have to be planted in our parks.
So all of that money is from the in lieu of fund?
That's correct.
Okay. So is there any way we can allocate a couple thousand?
Well, so again,
It's a legal issue, I don't know.
What are you proposing? Are you proposing to take a couple of thousand out of the money the developers are paying in lieu of
I
planting
don't
trees
care
on
where it
site?
comes from.
the question was, the fee in lieu of account that the developers pay is to be used for recreational services in the area.
Pretty much untouchable, right?
And that's what we've been using it for. The question was asked of me by the Parks Director, can that be used to purchase trees to then donate to our our residents for their private land? And my answer was no.
No, I also agree with that. I mean, it's basically restricted to your park properties.
Is there a way for us to go and research with Abington and Upper Dublin and how they're funding this tree giveaway?
They allocate money just for that every year.
In their budget?
Yes.
In their
So it's
general.
not the in lieu of?
No, it is not.
But can we get clarification?
I can certainly speak to them to see if it comes out of the general fund.
It does, I asked them.
Okay.
Paul will have to get, Kyle will have to get back to us on it.
Okay. Also, remember that meadow ordinance?
It's scheduled to be on the March agenda item.
March?
Yes.
Okay, that's good, thank you. And so we'd like to remove invasive plants from Veterans Park twice this year. We were thinking our first event would be May 17th. Of course, we'll check that with Parks and Rec. And also, we would really like to have a Facebook page, because we are doing more events now where we want to announce the event. We also want volunteers. One of our events, it kind of came up, we had no way, if we had canceled the event, to let people know about that, really. And I know that, almost all townships have Facebook pages for things like their EAC. And it's my understanding that our police department has one, and apparently so does our historical commission.
And the fire department?
The Historical Commission maintains their own page. The Police Department maintains their page.
Can we do that? We'd be more than happy to maintain our own page.
Is that, do they need our permission for that?
If
I'm just asking you, do that?
It's more an administrative function, to be honest. I mean, I guess you could kick it to finance and admin for a decision, but it seems like you're just establishing a page underneath.
Underneath your normal committee.
It's free.
It's free.
We're responsible for the information.
Anything that is on that page is a township communication, so, I mean, it's subject to the Sunshine Act and everything else, so, I mean, you have to be
Do you have
cautious of
someone
what
on
you
your
put out.
committee who can create the Facebook page?
Oh, sure, several.
One of the issues that we had in the past was if people comment on Facebook pages. So right now, there's no, on our township site, there's no comments allowed on our Facebook page because we don't have someone that can monitor those comments to ensure proper content. I'm not sure, Chief does not allow comments on their page. That's the policy that the Board of Commissioners has developed years ago. And I would think if there's any content that's being put on a Facebook page, the EAC would have to follow our guidelines as well, where comments are not permitted. It's just
No
informational only.
Yeah, no problem. So is that a yes?
Don't you have to oversee all that,
Yeah, but that committee just ended.
right? Anything that goes out. I mean, didn't we appoint you on that?
No, the police put out information that doesn't always necessarily go through my office. Not everything goes through the manager's office, no. The departments are able to send information, well, they send information up, we review it, and then we'll put it out. There used to be separate pages for each department. That was stopped. But, so yes, I guess the answer is yes, it all goes through our office.
Yeah. I mean, that's their only liability.
The Historical Commission,
Liability is any other subcommittee or subgroup of your township.
Historical Commission information does not go through the manager's office. They, if they have their own page, I know they have a page on our website. I don't know if they have a separate Facebook page or not. I'm unaware.
If all the other departments can figure it out, I don't see why this would be an issue.
Would you want us to send it through you, or, I mean, we can certainly not allow comments, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think it would always be helpful to forward to my office first.
Okay. And that's it. Any questions?
No.
All right.
And Historical Commission.
All right.
Anyone from the Historical Commission? No? Okay. That is it for CDC.
Next committee will be the Public Health and Safety Committee.